Imagine a man who heard 6 lakh hadith and kept only 7,275. Why? Because everything else in his view was not true. This is not the story of a hadith collector, this is the story of a man who spent his entire life searching for the truth. In 800 CE, the city of Bukhara, in present day Uzbekistan, a child was born named Muhammad ibn Ismail, who would later be known to the world as Imam Bukhari. His city had never produced a scholar of such fame before. His father was a learned man who had studied under great scholars like Imam Malik ibn Anas, but he passed away when Bukhari was still very young, leaving his mother to raise him. Then something difficult happened. At a young age, Imam Bukhari lost his eyesight and no doctor could cure him. His mother prayed day and night asking Allah for help, but until one night she saw Prophet Ibrahim in a dream, who told her that because of her prayers, her son's sight had been restored. The boy woke up and could see again. By the age of 10, Imam Bukhari had memorized the entire Quran, mastered the Arabic language, studied Islamic law, and memorized thousands of hadith at just 10 years old. His brother once described how they attended gatherings of scholars in Basra, where everyone would write down hadith, but Bukhari would only listen. People told him he was wasting time, but after a few days he asked them to bring their notes, and then he recited 15,000 hadith from memory, one by one perfectly. It felt as if he was reading from a hidden book, but that book was his mind. In Baghdad, scholars once tested him by changing the chain and text of 100 hadith and presenting them to him. Each time he said he did not recognize them, but after they had finished, he corrected every single hadith, restoring both the chain and the wording perfectly. The entire city was left in silence. At the age of 16, Imam Bukhari traveled with his mother and brother to perform Hajj in Mecca. His family returned home, but he stayed behind, and that was the beginning of a journey that lasted 16 years. He later said that in the search of knowledge, he traveled to Egypt and Syria twice, to Basra 4 times, stayed in Hijaz for 6 years, and visited Baghdad many times. He journeyed through Mecca, Medina, Basra, Kufa, Baghdad, Damascus, Egypt, learning from more than 1,000 scholars. Sometimes he would travel thousands of miles just to verify a single hadith, and even then he would only accept it if he was completely certain it was authentic. Then came a dream. One night Imam Bukhari saw Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in his sleep, and he was standing before him, holding a fan and driving away flies. The interpretation of the dream was that he would remove falsehood from the sayings of the Prophet. So he began a task that would take 16 years. Before writing any hadith, he would purify himself, pray 2 units of prayer, and seek guidance from Allah. Out of 6 lakh hadith, he selected 7,275, choosing only those where every narrator was trustworthy and the chain of narration was fully authentic back to the Prophet. This became Sahih Bukhari, which is considered the most authentic book after the Quran by Sunni Muslims. Then came a painful movement. The governor of Bukhara, Khalid bin Ahmad, called Imam Bukhari and asked him to teach Sahih Bukhari privately to his son at home. Imam Bukhari replied that knowledge should be sought, not delivered to people's home, and that if his son wanted to learn, he would attend lessons with everyone else. The governor refused, saying his son would not sit with ordinary students. Imam Bukhari replied that then he would not learn. This angered the governor, and Imam Bukhari was expelled from his own city. He was also forced out of Nishapur and was not allowed to stay in Samarkand. In the end, he took shelter in a small village called Khartang with his relatives. There he made a heartfelt prayer, saying, O Allah, the earth has become tight for me, so take me back to you. On the night of Eid al-Fitr in 1870 CE, Imam Bukhari set out on a journey. After traveling a short distance, he said he needed to rest. He stopped, sat down, and closed his eyes. When his companion tried to wake him, Imam Bukhari had already passed away on the side of a road alone at the age of 62. Today, the rulers of Nishapur, Bukhara, and Samarkand are forgotten, but Imam Bukhari is remembered all over the world because he did one thing: he searched for the truth and he preserved it forever.